My name is Oswaldo Henriquez. My YouTube channel will be a platform in order to defend the Western civilization, the Judeo-Christian values, the capitalist system, in other words, the free market system, to defend the United States of America, and to defend Israel. In this YouTube channel, I will post many videos in defense of all these topics. Please support my channel. Thank you very much. Good morning. Recently, I saw an interview of Piers Morgan, this British entertainer. I don't believe he's a journalist anymore. He's an entertainer. He's very similar to Jerry Springer. People who probably doesn't know who is Jerry Springer. He used to be an American Jewish journalist who lived in Cincinnati, Ohio. He quit his job and he became an entertainer. He created a very well famous talk show that brought many polemic and controversial programs that were very popular in America, in the US. But Piers Morgan looks like Jerry Springer. And he brought this fat, huge Palestinian doctor in order to tell his story or trash talk in Israel about the humanitarian condition of Gaza. When you saw this doctor, you start to see what I don't believe in the Palestinian narrative. It's very corrupt, dishonest. Uh, I I start to look for pictures and videos of this fat Palestinian doctor during his time working in the Gaza hospitals. And this looks like he never lose weight during that time. It's like he went to Gaza not only for humanitarian reason, but for getting fat to inflate himself. It's like he went to Gaza in order to steal the humanitarian food, not for the Palestinians, but for himself. It's like every morning he has a fast of food, and during the lunch, another fast of food, and during dinner, another fast of food. It's like he had, during his time in Gaza, a cheeseburger in every meal that he had during that day, during that period. He looks so huge. And in that interview, Piers Morgan made a mistake. If you are very common sense individual, a rational individual, you're gonna have to start to thinking, well, if this doctor went to a catastrophic place, this doctor he must be looking very in very bad condition, in very bad shape. According to these people, according to the pro Hamas and pro Palestinian people, the Palestinians are suffering and starvation and famine. But no, this guy returned to Australia. I don't know if he's a Palestinian from Australia, and he returned like he gained weight during that time. So there are contradictions about the Palestinian narrative. I often watch Al Jazeera, Democracy Now, TRT World, Middle East Eye, all these news propaganda outlets who support 100% the Palestinians. For them, the Palestinians and angels cannot do anything wrong. The Israelis are demonic entities that do everything bad. Most of the time, I don't listen the apocalyptic narratives of the journalists, Al Jazeera journalists, or other people. I observed the surrounding of where this journalist is telling his apocalyptic stories. And most of the time, you will see that many Palestinians look very well dressed. They don't look skeletons. They look very well shaped. Pretty much everybody has smartphones. Of course, there is destruction because the war is occurring right now. But every time you watch Al Jazeera, don't only listen what they are saying. Observe the surrounding uh, landscape or place where the people are telling you these horrendous stories. So far, I haven't found a Palestinian skeleton person in this war that accuse Israel of provoking starvation and famine. Even the ones that they portray, there are very few. The child, yeah, it looks very bad shape, but the mother and the doctors surrounding these kids, they don't look bad at all. They look in very good condition and sometimes very well dressed. When you see real famine and real starvation like Ethiopia or Somalia, you will find out that the people who are suffering these catastrophic conditions, the mother, the father, if there is any father, by the way, or the children, all of them are in skeleton conditions, very bad shape. So this is another propaganda that the pro-Palestinian people are creating. And the evidence is this humongous Palestinian doctor that he looks like he didn't lose any weight at all during his time in Gaza. And he gained weight, by the way. He's fat. So bad, stupid example that Piers Morgan put in his show to bring in this uh, chubby fat doctor to his program. You know, Piers Morgan are bringing many of these international Western doctors that used to work in Gaza. Many of these international doctors that were working in the Gaza hospitals are Americans, British, and Piers Morgan tend to believe more in the Palestinian narrative than the Israeli government narrative for any kind of weird reason. And he believes in those doctors and these international doctors who worked in Gaza. He believes in their stories. I don't believe in any of these British, Americans doctors, or Palestinian doctors, or Palestinian descendant doctors who used to work in Gaza. And I will tell you why. I don't believe those international doctors are in Gaza only for humanitarian reasons. Those doctors, those international doctors, have an ideological affinity with Hamas, with the Palestinian cause. So they are biased. They will never tell a good story about Israel. And the true stories that probably they have about the war, they will tend to exaggerate it. And I tell you why I know that doctors are not a reliable source of information. Because it happened in my country during the Civil War, during the Salvadorian Civil War. Um, In the 1980s of the last century, El Salvador has a very nasty, bloody civil war. And there were some Western doctors, particular doctors for Western Europe countries, that went to the communist guerrillas free some territories in order to help uh, uh, humanitarian reasons. But those doctors that went to help the guerrillas, the communist guerrillas in my country, didn't do only for humanitarian reasons, as I told you before. They did it because they were radical leftist Western doctors. They have an ideological connection with the communist guerrillas. So every time the Salvadorian army captured one of these doctors, they were very cautious to believe everything that they said because they tend to exaggerate the situation because they have an ideological identification with the communist guerrillas. The same happened with these doctors, these Western doctors that are helping in Gaza. They have an ideological identification with Hamas and with the Palestinian movement. So, no, I don't believe in the testimony of these doctors. Thank you very much for supporting my channel. Be a common sense person. Be logical. Don't only listen propaganda. Watch, observe the situation, and try to draw your own conclusions. Don't be dry by the misinformation. There is a lot of propaganda and lies that are being promoted by the pro-Hamas and pro-Palestinian people, particularly in the West. So support my channel, and I'm gonna be putting more videos about these issues. Thank you very much.